Hello, welcome to Patch, the first for the month of June. I'm your host, Paul James, and today I'm joined by Jay Parnas.
Welcome to E3, bitches.
Yeah, we're here to talk E3. So it's predictions time. We're a week out from E3, or just a tick under a week.
Yep.
As of the time you're viewing this. And we're kind of here to rattle off a whole bunch of our different predictions and things and ideas, and really we've got no idea. So we're just speculating about what we can expect from what is the biggest event on the gaming calendar.
Disclosure statement, this is recorded a couple of weeks early. Obviously, as you know, we record things early here, so be aware, obviously, in the weeks leading up to E3, a tirade of news and leaks will be coming out that we will not obviously be privy to. So I want to get that out the way. Obviously, I know that
if you hear
breaks a bit of the...
If you hear us talk about, I don't know, Elder Scrolls 5 as being, 6 as being a maybe thing, and it turns out it's already been announced before. Sorry.
Or if Crackdown 3 inevitably does get cancelled in the weeks leading up
Microsoft
to...
Microsoft is cancelling every game.
Yeah, leading up to E3 and is saying, no, we're not making this game anymore, fuck you, we're not going to be showing it, blah, blah, blah. We obviously don't know that yet, so you may hear it as at least a maybe from us.
Konami takes Kojima back under their wing and now are publishing Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll kick things off, and we're going to go in sequential order.
Bomberman engine.
Yeah. Super Death Stranding R.
Yeah.
We're going to go through things in the order in which they transpire, the press conference and those sorts of things.
Chronological.
Yeah, chronological order will be the word we're looking for there.
Yeah.
Now, the first one actually is someone who's distancing themselves a little bit from E3 itself, having their own event elsewhere in Hollywood. I think it's in Hollywood. Yeah. And don't really seem to want to associate themselves with the event, despite the fact that they're having it at the exact same time in 3 weeks.
I appreciate
EA, you fools.
I appreciate the bird flipping to the industry. I think that's
despite
pretty
the
funny.
fact that they still have it at the exact same time.
Yeah, they're like, we want to be included in the press event that is this time of year.
Yeah, they don't want to miss out on the talk.
I don't want to pay you to be on your stage. Fuck you. We can make our own stage. Yeah. Which look, again, I can respect that. Purely from a fuck you stance.
It's a cool thing in terms of, like, they did the EA Play thing a couple of years ago, and they were letting fans come in and do it. They were doing it before E3 let people do it.
Yeah,
so,
and
which is good.
It's always good to see some...
Which means EA will call themselves trendsetters again, and will continue to hate them.
Yeah, and it's always good to see celebrities stoned while playing their video games, and that's always a good...
That footage from Snoop Dogg from last year was great.
Oh, it wasn't just them.
No, there was a few others as well, but they probably need to crack down on that a little bit.
Yeah, Weed 3.
So, let's start. We're going to kind of break this whole thing for each publisher. We're going to break this down into a portion where we'll discuss kind of the sure things, what we have either already been told or what we would expect.
What has been confirmed, basically.
What's been confirmed or what we've basically certain will be there anyway. And then a bit of speculation as to what we might expect to rock up, and maybe just some total fantasies at the same time.
Yeah.
And we'll try to make sure we stress those at the same time.
Yeah.
So we'll kick things off for EA with the sure things, and I think there's no surer thing at EA Play this year than sports.
Yeah. Because what would an EA conference be without sports?
20 minutes of, at least, of Pele and other soccer or NBA
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, just people that don't resonate at all with your typical consumer of E3. But they do it for the shareholders, and that works for the shareholders.
It is
a business event first and foremost. So there's going to be lots and lots of sports. We'll get NBA Live 18, which is the first time that franchise has been seen for a few years because 2K craps all over it. FIFA 18 will be there. Madden NFL 18 and AFL.
AFL Evolution 2. No. NHL will probably.
Yeah, we'll probably see NHL and a few whatever else.
I mean, it'll get released.
I think they're the four that they do. Yeah, it does. It
does generally make screen time.
They're Americans. They don't want to talk about Canadians.
Yeah, well, I mean,
even though it's an Aussie running the show.
Yeah.
So, EA Sports first and foremost. What else are you expecting to see there?
I mean, we're going to have Battlefront 2. That's got to be there.
Well, yeah, and they've kind of confirmed that one already. They announced it, a month ago, maybe tops, and it's coming out in November. And half of the studios at EA are working on the bloody game.
Probably frantically before the next Star Wars Star Wars movie comes out. Because there's nothing like hype to surf on than a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, and there's nothing like confusing consumers with the fact that we've already got a Battlefront 2.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll see how that goes.
For all you Wikipedia page editors, good luck with that.
Good luck working out what you do from here.
Yeah.
And I'll throw you to the next one as well, because this is one you speculated on at first and I wasn't super sure of it in the first place. Turns out EA have already confirmed that it's going to be there.
Yeah, Need for Speed. New Need for Speed's coming out. So they took a year off after the shit show that was their last one with the weird FMV fist bumps and
I feel like that still was received alright. Like there was some flaws with it like that, but I feel like it was still received critically fairly well.
So the gameplay was fine, but everything else about it was kind of dog shit.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was...
Redemption time.
Well, I mean, look, and I say that just in comparison to the ones that came before, because, I mean, you know, like the remake of Hot Pursuit and the remake of Most Wanted were quite... Like, they were quite popular, but,
yeah.
I mean, again, Criterion was making those games, so that was, like, straight out of Burnout Paradise.
Yeah, just
they moved on to those.
That wave of momentum.
Yeah, and, I mean, look, you had your, like, the runs and shifts and all those sorts of weird things that Need for Speed's done, but they kind of refined it, and then there was that last one that was a little weird, and so apparently they've said it's going to be, you know, building on the framework of the last one, so I don't know really what that's going to be. So who knows? Hopefully they
PR speak in many respects as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, who knows what that's going to be? But I mean, for someone who adores Burnout Paradise, it's just a shame that
you haven't seen another one in that franchise.
I mean, it's what I bought a 360 for, and like, yeah, like for me, it was a console shifter. So. It's
yeah, true. Yeah,
it is a little sad.
Check out Jay's interview from last month where he talks about that.
Yeah, and it is a little bit of a shame that I guess that's really kind of all we've got left. I guess coming from that sort of arcade racer.
That era,
yeah. I mean, you got your Horizons, but that's not even really an arcade racer. It's just a
open world.
It's a more tame beast. It's just a little crazy. That's all. It still plays.
It's got Hot Wheels in it. That's impressive.
Yes, it does. but it's still a sim racer. Like it's still.
So let's kind of flick into wild prediction mode.
Yeah, right.
Do you have anything off the top of your head? I'll kind of give you the scope first. And I might do this with every single one just because.
Because fuck me.
Apparently. Well, no, just because I could probably sweep through and steal a few ideas.
Yeah, probably. I mean...
You were talking about another Star Wars game before we recorded.
Well, yeah, there's the Amy Hennig Studio one that I think...
Which is Visceral.
I think Respawn's also doing some of the work for that, as is Criterion.
Yeah, so there's a couple of... Well, I suppose
they're kind of double downing.
There's at least 3 Star Wars games that we know of. So there's Battlefront 2, obviously. We've got this Visceral developed game, the one that Amy Hennig's working on. And then there's the one by Respawn that Stig... I'm going to butcher his name. Amundsen. He was the creative director of God of War 3.
Yeah.
That he's joined with Respawn, and they're working on a Star Wars game as well. So we've got those 3. They're kind of, I guess, the 3 big pillars that we know of at this point.
Yeah. And they, yeah, but I
we got
feel
a
like
tiny little tease of Amy's last year, if you recall.
Yeah, no, I do. Yes, I do, and it looked quite nice from what I recall.
The 3 seconds.
The 3 seconds that it was there. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure from what I remember, I think it's like all hands on deck, everyone throwing in bits and pieces to
Battlefront.
Well, not just that, for all of them, I'm pretty sure, because I know that, like you mentioned before, Criterion's dumped in some of the work for the vehicles in Battlefront, but they're also, like, that's why their game that weird sort of sports thing, we haven't seen any of that.
I don't think we ever will now.
I don't think we ever will either, no. But that's probably why that's been shelved, because obviously they got downsized and now they've been kind of pumping all of their resources into helping all of these different Star Wars games.
Before I continue on with kind of more prediction related stuff, wild wishing here, basically. Let's get Criterion making a pod racing game. Star Wars Pod Racer. Remember how awesome Pod Racer was?
Yeah, I do.
For all that the movie was inspired by was rubbish.
Yeah, I'd be all up in that.
How awesome would that be?
That'd be great. And then you spin your pod racer and flip it and try and blow up as many of the competitors.
Kill Sebulba on your way through.
Yeah, just get it done. Like, that would actually be great. I mean,
like actually killing Sebulba.
If I was going, if I was going to see anyone do that, it'd either be Criterion or it'd be the Daytona Studio. Yeah. If I ever wanted to see a pod racer game, because they know how to make fast racing games.
A good company for that across the borders. Was it Codemasters?
Codemasters.
They do dirt and they do alt-ride and all those. And the F1s and all those.
Yeah.
Just go check out Player 2's own James Swinbanks on Twitter. He'll ramble and rant for days about all the racing games that there ever were and ever will be. He's a real expert. Go check out what he has to say about it.
Look, pod racing's cool. I mean, flying vehicles is cool. I mean, with PlayStation mentioning that there's a wipeout of some scale on the way.
It was a remaster.
It was a remaster, but I mean, look,
I feel like it's almost out.
I mean, look, there's definitely space in that like futuristic, floating, racy, fast-paced, like the wipeouts, the F-Zero, the Extreme Gs, like all of those that we had. There's like that entire.
They could get a new lease on life.
The arcade racing spectrum is dead, kind of. Yeah. So, I mean, for stuff like that, yeah, for sure. I mean, absolutely. If you want to talk wild,
yeah,
like not realistic predictions.
Then I'll go with a prediction again, but
like Mirror's Edge 3, probably.
No, not a prayer.
No, I know. Or even like Brutal Legend 2, or
wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I feel like Double Fine has their hands full at the moment.
Yeah, Psychonauts,
that's all you need.
That's all I really need. Yeah.
In terms of some of my predictions, so
Burnout.
I'm tipping
a new Burnout.
That'd be nice too. Like I'm not a big racing game fan, but I love Burnout Takedown.
Yeah. Oh. Burnout's great.
So for me, predictions wise, and this back to actual prediction, not wild speculation. I would expect to see BioWare there. And I would expect to see BioWare with something that's not well, we already know that they're shelving Mass Effect for a while. They've come out in the last week and a half to say
is there a season pass to that?
Maybe there'll be some DLC, but I think what they'll be, because the core BioWare studio didn't work on Andromeda, and I reckon because the team that did it is just kind of like one of the little ancillary studios of BioWare, it just kind of helps out, and typically. I feel like the core team are probably a little bit stung by this, that's kind of maybe tarnished their brand a little bit. Now, we've known for a while that BioWare have been working, like that studio have been working on a new IP. And I feel like they might want to try very quickly to distance themselves from what's happened with Mass Effect by going, here's the next thing. And it could prove to be foolish in that they could be a long, long way from completion. This could be Mass Effect Andromeda
again,
where we 3 years, I think that doesn't mean we'll get the same outcome.
Or even the Division, like that type of syndrome of like, hey, this is the same.
That paid off in the end. It was fairly well received. But
I mean, it took them a year to fix the game, so after release.
But
anyway,
no, true.
I know what you mean.
I feel like they're gonna and this is the core team we're talking about here, not that little ancillary on. I feel like they're going to want to move on from there. I wouldn't even rule out the fact that there may be something Star Wars kicking around with BioWare as well.
Yeah, maybe.
We know that they do the Old Republic, as it is.
Yes, true.
And I know that's not dead.
No, it's not.
I feel like it's still doing quite well, actually.
Yeah, I think it's doing all right.
I
mean, compared to all the other...
Yeah, there's plenty that crash and burn. I feel like you've got...
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls, Star Wars are probably the
Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't know too much outside of those four, but
there is a
Guild Wars is still doing fine.
Yeah.
There's a few of those big MMOs, Star Wars being one of them, and I'm sure they'll have something to show for it.
Yeah. Who knows? KOTOR 3.
Yeah. But, Jesus. Just KOTOR remake. Let's just remake the first and have Disney accept that it's canon. That'd be beautiful.
I think you could get one of those two things.
Disney accept that it's canon and not make a new one.
No.
And instead we get the Force Unleashed 3.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Force Unleashed 1 was good. 2 was not. So, any other little kind of wild speculation? Speculatory comments about EA?
Yeah, Skatefall.
Why not? Actually, I wouldn't rule that out. I do recall when Tony Hawk came out that EA were getting a little tongue-in-cheek at the expense of Tony Hawk on Twitter at the time.
Oh, of course. Tony Hawk 5 was...
But why would they do that unless... because if they've got no intention to go up against it.
But it's not even just that. I mean, they went ahead and they put Skate 3 backwards compatible in the Xbox.
Yeah, very shortly after. I recall.
Yep, that's right. And why would you get on the front foot with that game in particular?
Yeah,
like
if
before
you
even
something in the works.
Yeah, like I feel like it's a really good way for them to be. And look, it's been on sale quite a few times. It's been on the front page quite a few times. I feel like that
it did pretty well back in the day as well.
Skate games are great. Yeah. I don't know. I know those sorts of
reviews and sales wise.
Yeah, no, it did. And I really liked it. I don't even know why it went away, to be honest with you. Look, I'm not saying that they should have continued.
Maybe they saw some numbers that were
and look, I'm not saying they should have continued to flood the market with it, but I feel like
they were pacing themselves pretty well, in my opinion, back when they were coming out. We weren't getting Skate 1, 2, 3 back to back to back.
I mean, when did the last one come out? Because the first one came out.
It's been a while now.
It's like 2005, 4 that the first one came out.
It's probably been 5 years since we saw Skate 3 at least, I'm guessing. So, yeah, I think they were pacing themselves pretty well, and if the little teasers and I think a little bit of common sense kind of true, then maybe we are due. Maybe it's not as wild a speculation.
No, look, I think that it's somewhere in between an educated and a wild.
Yeah. Well, it's baseless. We've got nothing.
Oh, absolutely. It is absolutely baseless. Yes, but I feel like maybe there's
E3 predictions.
But that's the thing. Like when I think
we can look like geniuses when we turn out to be right. But mark this down.
When I think about EA, there's nothing really that springs to mind of like, hey, there's this long running franchise that maybe hasn't had an entry for a while.
Yeah, I think we might be waiting a while for.
Because I mean, like if you think about it,
about Star Wars now at the moment.
But it's not just that. Like if I was to ask you, think of an EA franchise.
I think Mass Effect.
Right. Well, like, think of one that hasn't had an entry for a while. Like, previously you could have easily said Mass Effect up until a couple of years ago.
Look, you could say a lot of those old Bullfrog IP, but we're not going to see... We're not going to see Dungeon Keeper 3, for example.
I mean, look, we're not going to see The Blob 3. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, I don't think even THQ Nordic picked that up. So.
Yeah.
But that's fine. So if you want to catch what's going on with EA, you can tune into, well, I think it'll be via EA.com, but 5 a.m. on Monday, June 12th, that's Australian time, 5 a.m. you can catch up with us on Twitter, presumably, but on the EA press conference and see all what's going on. With me on Twitter. Jay will be there, and I'm sure if he shouts something, especially, then I'll be sure to document it.
I do not even have the Twitter application on my phone. So.
Oh, that's how. There we go. So don't even worry about it going forward. All right, so we'll move on to the first of, and we're going chronological order. The first of the big console manufacturers here.
Yes.
And this is probably, I don't know. My opinion is that this particular publisher has the most to lose of the three.
Oh yeah, if you want to call them a publisher.
I'm talking about Microsoft.
Yeah.
Console manufacturer. Whatever.
No, you're
console
right.
manufacturer / games publisher.
Yes.
And Microsoft, I think, has the most to lose.
Yeah, of course.
7 a.m., so only 2 hours after EA. Let's talk about some of the sure things.
Scorpio. It's there.
It's there. And it gets priced at $1,000 Australian dollars.
No.
Just like the PS3 does.
I actually think that if they price that reasonable, that they will shift unit. Like, based on what they're saying is in it, and if they can give more realistic, like, hey, here's what the actual parts are, and they can price it reasonably, I do actually think that they'll start to shift units.
Depends on, I think, from the slap what we deem to be a reasonable, accessible price, I think they have to eat it price-wise.
Oh, they do.
They're going to turn a loss on it.
They absolutely have to eat shit on it.
Microsoft is the company of those big three that can afford to do that.
But the reason I'm saying that they can shift units, if what they're saying is true, what they are effectively packing into this console, based on the Digital Foundry stuff that came out, is effectively like the equivalent of a high-end PC. Like the current.
Yeah, current high-end.
Yeah. If you're putting that into a console, what you're doing is you're landmarking this, saying that this will not need an update any fucking time soon.
Yeah.
And if that's, like, if you're planning to burrow in right after Sony's already had a mid-console refresh, and that mid-console refresh is not that strong.
Like, it's alright.
But it's not. No, it is. It's nice, but it's not that leap.
No.
And if they are willing to take that financial hit for something that is like that optimized,
that some might consider a next gen sort of step.
yeah, then if they're saying, cool, we're gonna ride this home for the next 6 or 7 years, you will not have to fuck with this, and it is VR ready, and it will run it better than our direct competitor. Also, Oculus is coming to us.
It potentially forces PlayStation's hands a little bit.
It potentially
Starts.
What do they do?
Yeah.
What do they do? Like if they do that, and if they do make that reasonably priced, including all their peripherals, then you do really have to think, okay.
So what's your tip? And this is the speculation part of this particular topic. What do you think the Scorpio? Let's focus Australian dollars. So if you're anyone overseas, extrapolate. What do you think the Aussie price will be?
Will be probably $650.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think is the right price for it though?
Sub 600.
Yeah,
if they put that right in the PS4 Pro's back pocket,
I think if they
in
manage
the backyard,
to somehow hit 550 for it,
yeah,
they'll just rain.
They'll fly off the shelves.
Yeah, thank you. But I don't think they'll get below 7.
Yeah, I think they'll get below 7. Okay.
I think 7 is the price that'll hit at, or $6.99. Let's be clear.
Okay.
I don't know that they'll get anything less than that.
But boy, if they do, it will be.
Look, I plan.
It'll be on for young and old.
I personally will get one straight away, probably regardless of the price, because I'm just a moron like that. Oh,
yeah, you
actually, no, I won't say regardless of the price. It's fairly well documented. I'm getting married this year. I may not have the depending on how bad this price ends up being, I may not have the money to be able to do it.
That's true.
But the plan is.
But he is getting married, so if you want to scan some shit and send it to the wedding,
yeah.
He will accept EB gift cards.
The gift list. If you just want to put a Scorpio in there, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Timing would be about right too.
Yeah.
So, thanks. Right. So, moving on to another sure thing, Sea of Thieves. I figure we can expect to see rares.
It's pretty due.
We've seen it at 2 E3s already now.
Is that all?
The original one was the trailer. Second one, so last year, was where we got a little bit of gameplay.
And they had those random people.
Yeah, there was people in the background. And then Rare have been putting, it's almost on a weekly basis, there's stuff that they, like, be it written or sometimes some video stuff. Phil Spencer went down there recently and did a whole bunch of stuff with them. And I'm sure.
Does anyone know what that game is yet?
I feel like it's going to be in that Destiny Division sort of mold.
So an MMO, as in like a mini,
kind of
mini massive.
Yeah, not quite. Yeah, semi-massive SMMO.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be. It's not going to be the scale of a World of Warcraft sort of thing, just to use.
But that's to use. But maybe it is. Iconic. Maybe it is.
It could be. That'd be brilliant.
I mean,
jump on my boat, sail to Australia.
Well, that's the thing. Based on drop off the convicts. What, too soon? Anyway, moving on to. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I am. You are.
We are all convicts.
Yeah. Well, because based on what they were showing was just, you could just see someone at sea and just fucking wreck their ship. So who knows?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Maybe the clan thing will be making a pirate crew or something like that. Like who knows?
Maybe the end of the earth actually exists in Sea of Thieves and we just drop off it.
So what you're saying is Kevin Costner's Waterworld is real. Yeah. Okay. Rarewell, I think you're better than that. Don't.
Yeah, you are. You've given us reason to doubt over the last
nuts and bolts.
10 to 15 years. But yeah. What other sort of things do you... Now, we've kind of moved on from sure things. We only managed to identify Sea of Thieves and Scorpios, the things that we were guaranteed to see.
Yeah, because I mean, look, if they're dropping a console...
There's got to be more.
Well, there does, but if they're dropping a console, they're going to be putting a lot of real estate on that.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah, for sure. It's going to eat a lot...
It's going to take up a bunch of time.
God, eat away a lot of time.
Yeah, you're having a rough time. You want to slow that down?
It's late. So...
We're recording this about 5:30 in the evening, so not late.
Late in terms of a long day of recording and demo farting.
Late as in you missed your period. It's fine.
Yeah. So, what other things do we expect to see? So not guaranteed, but what else do we...
I reckon they'll, like, as I was saying to you a little earlier, I reckon we'll see Crackdown.
Release date? My actual tip is that we'll see it and it'll be
a Scorpio release date. Yeah, probably. I don't know if I would guarantee that. I reckon they'll probably say...
No, neither of us are bold enough to guarantee
No, in terms of release date, no. I think they'll just say holiday 2017.
Yeah.
Because that's easier. And who knows? Look, there might be something else where it's like, okay, the Call of Duty comes out then. Maybe we can have that as our something. Maybe we can do a deal
Call
with
of Duty is
Activision.
still aligned with PlayStation, so they're not going to try and lock in alongside.
But that's you don't.
Well,
know
I suppose we
don't know what the
when Call of
Scorpio
Duty comes out. But
yeah, but that's the thing. We don't know what the Scorpio is going to be doing. Maybe they're going to be greasing some palms because that's the easiest way to launch a console. Get other people to do the work for you when it comes to putting games out at launch. So.
Yeah. I don't know, it'd be one of those things you're not going to see.
I mean, look at the Switch. Neo Geo did more of the work than Nintendo did.
You're not going to get a Call of Duty Scorpio bundle, for example.
No!
It's just not going to happen because they're partnered with PlayStation. PlayStation won't allow it.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, this is the competition. Nope.
Yeah, I guess.
You've signed the deal with us. That's it, done. We gave you money, so you're now going to do what we ask you to do.
Well, maybe. Then maybe it goes the other way. Maybe you see... like Battlefield 1 running on it, or maybe you see something.
Battlefront 2 maybe. No, that's got exclusive PlayStation stuff. There's another deal there.
Yeah,
Destiny 2, same deal.
Yeah, right.
PlayStation has hit the big guys and locked them into contract. Undefined how long these things are. Potentially they could end at the end of the year.
Tomb Raider.
Assassin's Creed. Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider exclusive to Scorpio. Bang.
Look, yeah, you're right.
I'll still play it on there if I have to.
Yeah. Look, and talking about it like this, yeah, it really does. Crackdown seems like the thing because they refuse to acknowledge it's dead. Unlike,
I don't think it is.
Unlike pretty much everything else that they've cancelled over the last 2 years.
Who's developing it again?
Oh, it was the first team. I can't remember.
At the day before the
last E3, they said we're not going to be there.
No, the day before all the details for Scorpio came out, so the stuff that was on Eurogamer.
Oh, that's right. They said we've got some stuff to show.
They said we've got some stuff to show soon.
Yeah.
Now, I personally had expected, so it means you're teasing, you say soon, and then boom, there it is tomorrow with alongside all this stuff that they're going to show a bit of game.
Yeah.
Like a game running on it. They turned out they didn't. But then I just instantly
that
instantly means E3.
Yeah.
Because that's about as late as soon could possibly be.
Yeah, well, fiscally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, when you're looking at that game, they refused to call it dead. They had super high ambitions for it using the
cloud.
Power of the cloud. And cloud-based physics and all of that sort of bullshit. So, look, who knows? Maybe they have, instead of taking that power from the cloud, they're taking that power from this ridiculous high-octane gaming console system.
Yeah.
And that's how they justify it.
I think that'd be a wise idea.
Probably, yeah.
But at the same time, how does that then work for your regular Xbox One owner? Do they have to use the cloud? Does it have to be powered by the cloud?
Maybe it's scaled back. I don't know. Maybe it's...
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
So... anything else you kind of expect from Microsoft before we kind of throw in some wishful thinking?
Cuphead, probably.
And below.
Yeah,
they're
ID...
so beyond overdue, those two.
ID at Xbox will have to do some stuff. Because...
Tacoma is another one, so that's the one from the Gone Home team.
Yep. That'll be there.
But other than that, we're not going to see Halo 6. We're not going to see Gears of War 5. Both companies have already said no. The 343 have said you'll see something Halo related.
Yeah, probably will we see Halo
DLC
Wars 2.
Halo Wars 2.
That's one.
Or like the Spartan Assault, those little mini. They're initially like Windows.
Oh, yep.
PC sort of mini game things. So we'll see how that one kind of goes.
Do we see anything cross-platform related? Do you think?
What, between PC and Xbox?
Yeah. Do you see them still drumming that home?
Yeah, but look, they've kind of locked that thing in. So any of those games, Sea of Thieves will be on PC, Crackdown will be on PC, whatever else they announce will be on PC.
Do you think they make that a point of hey, this is still a thing that we have?
Yeah. They'll mention it. I think they'll mention it alongside what they do with Scorpio more specifically.
Yeah.
So wishful thinking stuff. What are we?
Voodoo. Wait, hang on.
Oh wait, that's already happened.
Scale. Oh wait.
No, unfortunately, that one we can't joke about. It's dead.
Yeah, it's super dead.
That dragon out. And
Blinks the time sweeper. No.
Remastered.
Look, I mean, when I think of Microsoft games,
Sunset Overdrive. No.
Don't. That wound is still fresh enough.
Check the Play 2 website. You've already seen me talk about how that's very much a wishful thinking sort of idea, and it's never going to happen.
I would never say never.
Disappointed.
I would never say never. because I feel like once
They need to party with PlayStation. And I mean Insomniac need to party with PlayStation to make that happen. So I don't know who owns the IP.
They do, because that was one of the
Insomniac does, or
that
Microsoft
was
does?
yeah, they do. That was one of the reasons they went with Microsoft in the first place. Because Sony wanted to sew up the IP, and that's why they were like, no, we want to keep this one.
And then they went and just did Spider-Man for PlayStation anyway.
Yeah.
But then again, neither Sony nor Insomniac own the Spider-Man license.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, Sony does.
In terms of film, I don't know if that extends to video games.
I think it does.
Cool.
Anyway,
Even better.
back to Microsoft and all the
no
things
Gears, no Halo, no Scalebound, no Sunset Overdrive. Fable's back.
No.
They've got Peter Molyneux back.
Fable's dead. Yeah, look, I honestly don't know.
Really interesting interview recently with Molyneux that I'll have to direct you to afterwards.
Yeah.
IGN did an interview with him about the history of his time with it, just across the board, but they really focused on Connect and Fable and what happened there. Really interesting, maybe worth going and have a listen to.
But as far as
if IGN needs more hits, us tiny little guys are directing him their way. We'll take a check in the mail.
In terms of stuff that they'll throw forward, I honestly don't know. Other than the ID, I guess
the air of the unknown, the fact that we know it can't be Gears or Halo is kind of exciting as well.
The problem that I have is they've pulled that trick on me once before with the year of Recore and etc.
2013.
Yeah, like they've done that trick before, and it was nice, and I'm sure Phil Spencer will be like, yeah, we've got stuff to show you. Look at my T-shirt, but I mean,
fell through.
Like, what are they going to do?
Do we bother to look at what shirt Phil
Banjo
Spencer's
3, like Conker's Bad Fur Day 2? I mean, no, because Sea of Thieves, but
yeah, I don't know. I think they're probably the hardest one to predict.
Yeah, for sure.
How much time do they give Scorpio? Is it everything built around that?
Who have they given money to? Like, who is not already?
So much money they can throw around. So who knows? 7 a.m. Monday, June 12th, Australian time for Microsoft.
Who do you think they've partnered with? Because it's not something they're making themselves. Who do you think that they would partner with?
I don't know. I feel like they
Retro Studio. No.
I feel like they want to still buddy with Japanese developers, but it hasn't worked for them in the past.
Well, that's because
they went with JRPGs rather than just Japanese sort of games. That more all-encompassing thing. Bayonetta 3 is exclusive to no. I have no idea.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I have no idea.
It'd be nice for them to do cool shit like that.
I think the best way that, and the problem is that Sony's got
maybe a Platinum Studios joint.
So locked out. Yeah, but
I mean, does
Platinum want to get straight back into bed with them after Crackdown? Who knows?
You mean Scalebound?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, now that I think about it,
they may very well but Platinum at the moment is doing all right with what they've done with the likes of Nier, and then they're rolling in money from PC ports of Bayonetta and what's the other one? The one where you slide.
Vanquish. Do we see a Vanquish 2 this year?
No.
No?
No, not yet.
You don't think so? How many years has it been since their A team stopped working on, or one of their teams stopped working on Bayonetta? Do you think
was Bayonetta?
Do you think
2.
that team surely couldn't have gone on to make Nier? Surely not.
No, but the whole studio's tiny. They all kind of just break off in different directions. That's why I wasn't at all surprised when we spoke about this. So maybe go back and take a look at our episode about Platinum. But I don't know that they'd be ready for anyone.
Really. I mean, we saw Scalebound years before it eventually got killed.
Yeah, true. But I think that fits into that E3 where Phil's trying to go this and this and this and look at this, look at this, look at this. Even though most
literally that thing that we just discussed would be this year?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one to work out.
It is. I have no idea.
Monday, 7 a.m, June 12th. Make sure to give it a look. And again,
because who the fuck knows?
There'll be ramblings on Twitter. Check it out. Moving on to Bethesda, who are midday, June 12th.
Yes. Long gone are the days of...
Hard to predict in some respects. They've done a good job in these past... Well, I suppose they've only had 2 E3s. Conferences now.
Even have?
Yeah, one was the big Fallout
one.
Yeah, right. I think that was the first one.
Yes, it was. And then last year was...
Prey.
Quake and Prey. Yeah.
So
Quake will be there.
Yeah, Quake will be there. Wolfenstein was one... and
heavily teased.
Easily missed if you weren't paying a lot of attention. there's like little lines of DOS code at the very beginning of the game,
Yeah.
and you see Wolfenstein: The New Colossus or something Colossus.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure it was New Colossus. Otherwise, I've published it wrong on the website.
Oops.
Oops. Hopefully, Matt screened that before the whole article.
Yeah. He's an editor. He'll edit that out.
Yes,
That's his job.
yeah. We'll edit this video.
Thanks, Matt.
I'll just say wrong across my mouth. So, Wolfenstein: The New Colossus was kind of teased in there, just the title, nothing more than that. It was really cleverly done. It was clear that they knew the name, they knew that they were working on Wolfenstein.
Well, because
but they
it didn't
just
have a whole
didn't
bunch
have
of
enough to
games,
show.
and all of them said done except for
Yeah.
that one. I
Yeah,
think.
because it was like this big history of id, because it was leading, because Quake kicked it off.
That's right. That's right.
And then they squeezed that in there, and then people very quickly forgot it because of the fact that it was...
Because that led into Quake, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Quake
start.
opened it up.
It was the start of their conference, and
the
some
crowd
sites
went ballistic.
and some sites had a bit of lag, so we actually missed that on our end.
Yeah, we had trouble. I think we'll make sure to go with the official YouTube, or the one through YouTube this
Yeah.
year, just to be all over
Just
it.
to be all up in that.
Not going to be too
1080.
sure, and yeah. But I think they're the two kind
But
of
that's
locks.
the thing. Yeah, like other than that, I feel like they've kind of expended their load, so to speak.
I'm not as sure.
Well, I mean,
So,
like,
Tango, who were the guys who did The Evil Within, that was 2013
okay, I didn't even know they were up
or
this.
14. So that's Shinji Mikami.
Yeah. Well, hey, Resident Evil 7.
That's due. Yeah, and he didn't even have anything to do with it, but
Yeah.
he's due.
Yeah.
think that studio is due. So that could be a thing.
That'd be nice.
Arcane themselves now, obviously Dishonored 2 came out last year. You know, both of us aren't big fans of Dishonored, but
I mean,
there's plenty of people who are.
and it
did well.
It did the thing that it was trying to do. So
Yeah.
there's that.
And that was last year.
Then,
obviously, it
they also threw out
there won't
Prey.
be one this year, but maybe they'll. Yeah, but that was there's multiple Arcane studios.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm
so
saying. Like, they're kind of
Yeah.
they're done. So
We'll probably see some Dishonored DLC.
oh yeah, yeah, probably.
Because there was a fair bit to the original one.
Yep.
So there might be that. And the big question, I mean, we're going to see Elder Scrolls Legends, which is that card game that they showed off last year.
Yep.
Because I feel like that'd almost be ready for final release.
Do you think we see the next one? Do you think we see the
I feel like
the
what they
follow
want
up to Skyrim?
I think, geez, yeah, when you just say the follow up to Skyrim, that just instantly amplifies any and all pressure on them.
Of course it
and
does.
Skyrim's not even the best big RPG that's out there. The Witcher 3 is. But because... that's without question.
He says with a shit-eating grin on his face.
Jeez, I love The Witcher 3. It's so good. But at the same time, the impact that Skyrim had at the time, there is so much pressure on
Oh, of course.
Elder Scrolls 6.
I mean, especially
And
considering what happened
Fallout
to
4 they copped a bit for. It was reviewed well, but there's pockets around the internet, and it kind of grew the further we got from the release of Fallout 4, as in
Of
post,
bugs
where people are
and-
going, oh no, not so much bugs, it's you guys weren't paying any attention to what's gone on in the industry since Fallout 3 or Skyrim, have you?
yeah. But I mean,
because
I
it
think,
was basically Fallout 3.5.
but there are a lot of people
There's
that
people
are,
that love that.
there are people that are getting sick of what a Bethesda RPG is, which is just a buggy mess. Like the
Yeah,
open
there's-
world,
there's
the
that
open
too.
world is like it's just fucked, and they refuse to fix it.
There is that.
Like there are definitely pockets of that as well. So
But I think like a lot of the comments that you're right about that. I think, and there's been also a lot of conversations, probably even after those initial ones, that have been, why do we give them a pass?
yeah,
And why do they get a pass?
That's what I'm saying. Like even
And
people
so
now.
so the pressure's on in that regard too.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at like open world games such as Horizon and Zelda, and
Regardless
Yeah.
whether you like them or not, they're polished.
I mean, even Zelda with its frame rate issues, they came in and cleaned them up completely.
Yeah, within like a week of the game coming out.
But not even well. I mean, they've done even further work to it.
Yeah, they've
of
done
late.
more since as well.
Yeah, and again, so what you like about that?
Whereas you look back at the PS3 version of Skyrim, and it never was fixed.
Yeah,
They could not fix it.
yeah, and I mean, have they even like there's a Switch port
It never bothered me.
on the way? Do you reckon it's going to be fixed for that? No, they didn't fix
Well-
it. They didn't fix it for the HD remakes either.
Yeah, it worked fine on Xbox and that sort of thing. It was,
Yes,
it was
but
the old
the
PlayStation
same
issues, but
the same glitches and exploits.
Oh, yeah,
they're
those
all there.
things, yeah.
Like they're non-fixable.
yeah.
So it's yes, they do have.
Yeah, so we'll probably find that we'll have that issue with Skyrim for Switch.
Yep.
Presumably we'll see that there. If maybe it'll only be at Nintendo, but because it probably doesn't need a big spotlight at Bethesda, unless Bethesda's like, hey, here we go. Have a look at the thing on the Switch and look at this. And then there's Elder Scrolls 6 on the screen. But I feel like the way they treat that when the announcement, once that PR cycle begins,
do you think
I think that'll be Fallout 4 style, where we get an announcement just before E3, they blow the doors off, and then it's out the end of that year. And I don't think this year is that year. I think it's next year.
Okay. Well, do you think we see more?
Working on apparently half a dozen different things, including Fallout VR.
Do you think we see more regarding Elder Scrolls Online, even though they've just kind of dropped Morrowind?
Morrowind will be out just after E3, I think. So they'll do a little bit of that.
But I mean,
that's tease what's to come.
That's the thing. Like, they teased Morrowind last year, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, that's taken them a year. Like, do you think they drop the next one now for next year?
Potentially. I don't know. Yeah, it's
Elder Scrolls Online Skyrim.
I haven't. Oh Jesus! I haven't spent enough time with. Well, I haven't spent any time with Elder Scrolls Online yet, and I still intend to. I believe it's sitting in that pile somewhere.
I've not even played an Elder Scrolls game, so don't worry about it.
But look, there's a lot of pressure around that franchise, because for all that it did have its bugs at the time, people weren't going, oh, look at these issues. Except for the PlayStation 3 owners who just got a buggy mess and then didn't get DLC for months and months and months. Actually, years, I think, if I recall, and by then no one cared anymore. But Skyrim is still one of the most played games if you look at Steam or any of those sorts. Still it's absurd the amount of time people are putting into it. So,
and look, they did the right thing.
There's a lot of pressure around that franchise.
They did the right thing regarding some of the mod stuff when they did the remaster for it as well.
That was cool.
Yeah, look, who knows? But I mean, in terms of other games, that's the thing. I just don't know.
Yeah.
With Bethesda, surely they would not
just wheel out anything.
But surely they would.
Doom is back.
Doom
again.
2, yeah, right.
It can't turn around that quick.
No. Why? How many years did it take for them to turn around this one?
Well, that's because they went for their near Call of Duty one. Have you read too much of the story of that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
interesting one to listen to again. You don't have to go to IGN this time.
Go play their
Danny
multiplayer.
O'Dwyer. Go check his thing out on Patreon.
Play the multiplayer. That's it's that.
Yeah, true. So I think we're kind of out of wild speculation even for Bethesda. So check them out midday, June the 12th. Yeah. That's the same day as EA and Microsoft.
I mean, surely they've got something, because they said, hey, yeah, we want to book time.
Yeah,
so
they'll have something.
It's just, I don't know
they've
what.
Got a fairly large portion of show floor too, apparently, that they're calling Bethesda Land. Like, they're kind of... They're teasing big things. A bit like us with Microsoft, can't work out what it necessarily is. I'd be happy if it was Elder Scrolls 6, but we'll see.
Just to touch on stuff that we've already kind of mentioned a little bit, do you think we'll see anything from Warner Brothers this year? Do you think
we'll see Middle-earth.
I mean, aside from Batman. And where do we see that?
Microsoft. That's a Microsoft one.
You think we'll see Middle-earth at Microsoft?
Yes.
Do you think we see it running on the...
They're actually right next door. Phil Spencer goes over there quite often to see what they're doing. So I've heard Phil talk about this. He goes over there quite often to see what's going on. They forge a really strong friendship and partnership. And if you recall when... Oh, no, you didn't follow the Shadow of War stuff. But when it was through Microsoft. And there's special stuff for Scorpio. Like, they're talking about Scorpio.
Do you think we see it running on a Scorpio?
Yes. Oh, yeah, they might. The game will already be out before Scorpio hits.
But do you think we see the...
Yes. Here's what it did on this. Here's what it does on Scorpio. Because there's something that people can see and almost tangibly.
Do you think we see... I mean, they've said that no more Batman, but do you think we'll see more Batman? Or something to fill that void?
Something DC, yeah. But I don't know where... I don't know. Those guys, on the other hand, were pretty tightly aligned with PlayStation, so we'll see. Moving on to the next day, finally. We've 3 press conferences in the first day, and we move on to... There is the PC gaming show in the early hours of the Tuesday.
And maybe Devolver, we don't know.
And Devolver, we don't know where they fit as of the time of this recording. That's really cool that Devolver's doing one.
Yeah.
This is an indie games publisher.
Yes.
That is just...
And look, Devolver...
big time.
They kill it. They do such a good job in terms of supporting whatever. They're just like, yeah, you want to make a ridiculous game about smashing people's heads in the 80s? Yeah.
All right, we'll give you
fucking, yeah, do it. Hey, like Adult Swim, you want to make a whole bunch of dumb shit? Cool, go for it.
Go for it. So
Like-
I think that's really cool, and it's great that they've booked themselves out some time. What impact that'll have, where that fits, do they clash with someone? I don't know, but
And they're one of the people that assisted with indies getting to consoles.
yes,
Like,
they're a big player.
Even stuff like Broforce, like getting that to PlayStation, that was through their partnership with Devolver.
Yeah, and
So-
they've had a big say in kind of how indie games have
And a lot of how
played
the
out.
game industry has
Hopefully,
gone.
I mean, hopefully we kind of kill off this whole indie game sort of tag. I think in time, like I'd
don't know,
love to
I-
just think of everything as games, but
I like...
But at the moment, we are still kind of in that sphere.
I like the
There's
term
smaller
indie.
guys, and then there's the big.
Because if you think about it, we're talking... We label AAA games. We label them as AAA.
Yeah, and
I don't want to... I think that calling them, like, the B games or C games or whatever...
I just think we call them games.
But it's... You have to come up with a name for it. It has to be, okay, well, these are... You have to differentiate the big...
I think we're still at that
the
point
big
where we're
budget
doing- that's
versus...
because we've still got big versus small budget, but
But that will
so
never
big
change.
Big and small.
That will
I don't
never
know.
change. And small budget sounds demeaning. B grade sounds demeaning. Like
true.
indie is the easiest way to say we don't have a big publisher, we don't have big dollars,
But we can still make it.
but we can still make it. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the best way to call
Yeah. So
it. Yeah, DIY is fun.
we don't know where Devolver fits yet as of the time of recording.
Yep.
We know that the PC gaming show is about 3 a.m. on the Tuesday before Ubisoft.
So fuck that.
No thanks, because it's just a bunch of promotion from.
It's a business show.
It's more of a business one than here's new games sort of thing. There are usually a couple. I don't know. We're not really in those circles. Devolver usually goes to that, but now they're doing their own thing. So
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. That's too hard for us to predict. Ubisoft. So a couple of sure things, and we can just probably burn through these because we know absolutely nothing about 3 of the 4 of them. Assassin's Creed, they're calling, I believe, Assassin's Creed Origins, the most overused subtitle there ever was for a video game. There it is in Assassin's Creed now. Far Cry 5 and The Crew 2. The Crew 2, a game no one really asked for.
Yeah, you know it might be.
The
Origins
most
might-
overused. It's pretty bad, eh?
It's rough. Other than like 2.
Yeah, other than a Roman numeral or a number or something, but that doesn't count. So there's those 3. They kind of all got announced in the space of 24 hours, and then 24 hours afterwards, we got confirmation that South Park is finally coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still believe it when I see it because it's had release dates set before, and then they've missed them. It's coming October.
Mm-hmm. October 17th.
17th. Thank you, because I missed that specific number. I'd forgotten that. I had tipped it was going to come this year because I think we spoke about this maybe in a patch episode, but maybe not. There was a bunch of merchandise that was announced. Yes, I think so as well.
So you assumed it would be this year to some degree?
No, but there'd been something come out a while back that was about merchandise related to the game that was coming out late September. I'm like, you don't do that unless you've got a product that's out or very close to. So I'd kind of locked that internally in my mind that it was going to come out this year. Player 2's own Adam Rourke for the Writers Draft is stoked because he didn't believe it was coming out. And I'm like, I told you so. So
he somehow got March in there because they were talking about fiscal or something like that.
Yeah, he kind of misread it. But he's lucky. It's worked out for him in the end.
Nice work, mate.
So Assassin's Creed, South Park, Far Cry 5, The Crew 2. I think they're all our sure things. Well, they are kind of sure things. 3 of them they've said. All 4 of them they've said will be there.
Yeah.
Gameplay, presumably for all of them.
Maybe.
But where do we go from there for Ubisoft?
Just Dance.
Yeah, because that's what they do every year. I'm tipping we're going to see a Tom Clancy game of some sort because that is what they do. And I feel like we're due for Splinter Cell.
I was going to say, do you think it's time?
2013 was Blacklist, so yeah, I feel like we are. There'll be some talk about Rainbow Siege because it's Rainbow Six Siege because it's still doing really, really well. Like here's maybe our 3rd season of content.
Yeah, right.
Maybe here's a little bit more for the Division. Maybe here's what's the other one? Here's some Ghost Recon Wildlands DLC.
DLC, yeah.
But I think the next game in the Tom Clancy series will be the sequel to Blacklist, whatever that happens.
Do you reckon it's a sequel?
Not too.
They might reboot it. Do you think it's
Possibly.
time for a reboot?
Sales weren't brilliant with Blacklist, but
But the one before it, which was actually
Conviction, which was the 360 exclusive.
that one was pretty good.
Yeah. And Blacklist I thought was fantastic as well. It's just the sales.
Did you use the same system of
Problem
like
for Blacklist is it came out around the time where the new generation of consoles are coming out. People didn't want to. They were putting their money away for their new machines and not
games?
A game that was like, well received, but not a must-have.
Yeah.
I guess. I feel like Splinter Cell's due, but I can't really think of too much else they might do off the top of my head. I'm now, while we're doing this, consulting my written ideas in case there was something that kind of crossed my mind that maybe even might prompt ideas. But do we think we'll get anything from UBR? So they're the ones.
Yes,
like,
I do.
That's the Rayman.
Yeah, I do.
Legends. That's
because we got some
Valiant Hearts, and that's Child of Light. And
what was that?
Child of Light 2.
What was that? That it looked like a black. With the. I can't even think of how to describe it. It's there were like the weird plants and shit. Do you remember the one I'm talking about? It had like black, like everything kind of looked like it was spiky, kind of, and you were like floating on like owls or something.
FE, and that was EA.
Was that EA?
That was EA. That was. Remember how they're trying to kind of do? I've totally forgot. Yeah, FE, Sharp FE. I think it was like.
Was it?
Yeah.
That was EA.
Because they're trying to kick that off with old Yanni and then FE. Yeah, but
yeah. All right. Sorry, my bad.
I want to see something from UBR. That is an amazing engine. The games look gorgeous on it.
Yeah.
I want to believe Child of Light 2 because I think that's the pick of everything they've done. That includes the 2 Rayman games, which people rave about.
Okay, well, just to quickly touch on EA, do you think we'll see any of those?
Oh, there'll be, probably the next game, one of their kind of indie initiative sort of titles.
Okay.
Hey, FE's out in like a month, here's what's next, sort of thing. I'm out of ideas. Steep 2. No, that didn't perform.
What does Ubisoft even do
this
anymore?
This is the problem that we have when it comes to them as well. They just drop something at the end, like Watch Dogs 2. They did years ago, or the year after it was The Division, and then the year after that it was Rainbow Six Siege. Like they just drop something that's completely out of left field, which is fantastic. I think that's great.
Do you think we see another IP? Is it time? I mean, I feel
like Splinter Cell might be that we're closing it out sort of thing.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like they didn't do that last year, did they?
They closed with Steep last year. That was their thing last year.
Okay,
last year was the letdown, but it still continued that trend. The year before that was Ghost Recon Wildlands. The year before that was Siege.
Watch Dogs was
The Division.
Oh,
no, Watch Dogs 2 was something that because it was announced beforehand because it had been leaked so much.
Watch Dogs 1 was a year or two before.
Watch Dogs was the first.
One of the first ones, yeah.
Was the first.
So a lot of these
then
things...
Division, then Siege, then Wildlands, then Steep.
So all of them...
So there's going to be something like that.
So all of them are...
one Tom Clancy games. Sorry, bar 2. Steep and Watch Dogs. Well, 2 out of 5. Siege, Wildlands, and Division.
Oh yeah, right. I keep forgetting that Division is a Tom Clancy game.
I feel like we're
Tom Clancy,
and I feel like closing with Sam Fisher is the big way to shut up.
I feel like closing with an IP. I think they're due.
Like as in one of their known IPs.
Nah, as in a new IP. Yeah, so, I feel like.
One that leverages the Tom Clancy license?
Do you think that we see anything more from that potentially cancelled game that was a joke in Watch Dogs 2?
I never actually...
Never heard?
I didn't actually get to Watch Dogs 2.
There's a side mission in there where you leak a game from
yes,
Ubisoft.
Yeah, I was aware.
And there is an actual trailer that was originally going to be a game.
That would be brilliant.
That'd be...
just because that is...
I mean, it's...
Look, they're wild enough to do something like that.
They are. They're like, hey, cool. We all saw.
They act in some regards like what Konami used to with their
for sure.
Like just not.
They're just an untamable unit in some regards. I mean, which is weird considering last year's press conference was some of the most boring E3 press conferences I've ever seen in my life. and that
last year
includes
was not a great one.
and that includes some of the EA Sports stuff. Like last year's Ubisoft was rough.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like at the end of the day, they could, if they throw out some, UbiArt stuff, they throw out like a new IP at the end of it, they could really have a blockbuster.
Come back to me, Sam Fisher. That's all. I'm pinning so many of my hopes on Splinter Cell.
Look, maybe.
And I'd love,
I like Conviction. That
I'd
game
like
is really
there's
good.
something to kind of your point, something new. I don't want that to be the end of like if I feel like if I was designing or planning out their conference, you're going to have your Assassin's Creeds and South Parks and Far Cry's and the Crew 2 in there.
Who knows? Maybe you don't have South Park
something
in there.
new.
Maybe you don't.
Possibly not, but I feel
because
that game's been under pressure a little bit, and they love the opportunity to wheel out Matt and Trey.
But that's
and
the
Matt
thing.
and Trey love doing that.
But they're never great to view. It's like, especially last year.
Their jokes fell a little bit flat.
Yeah, and it ran long, and it looked. Maybe they're still hurt over last year. Maybe they just say, "Look, we've given you the date. This game's out. Yeah, let's focus on some stuff that will actually make us some."
But let's assume that we're going to get certainly a large portion of that little group.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
yeah,
you're probably going to get your Just Dances. You get like those sorts of things. I feel like if I was
you're
going to get your new thing. You're going to get Aisha Tyler. You're going to get that new thing, and I feel like that new thing is somewhere in the middle. I feel like that Sam Fisher is back moment will still. Especially if they can kind of... No one's really...
Just that three-pronged night vision?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. That's how they kind of close... Or even begin it. Like, crowd would go nuts.
The crowd would go, yeah.
Because that... Like, your crowd there is your hardcore...
Absolutely.
It's the media. It's your hardcore thing. To see those little lights kind of light up and then kick something off would be huge.
And that's the thing.
That then, as a
usually
sitting on the other side,
those stingers usually do start with something that is extremely recognisable to a franchise. So there's
very few cases where that's not, where they don't kind of slip something in like that straight away to go, this is what it is. God of War is a good example of that last year where they didn't do that.
Sunset Overdrive also, if you recall their one where it was the guy getting gunned down, or like...
Oh yeah,
remember with the cutscene or like
Sunset
the cover?
Was still an unknown thing. Like I'm talking.
No, this was the year after it was announced that when they had that big one where they introduced the main character and he grinds on the rail, and that started with the dude being behind the box, like the cover shooter joke that they went with. So look, apart from stuff like that, I mean, who knows?
I think it'd be a brilliant way to close it out. But
you're right.
That might be a little bit of inner fan sneaking out there.
Yeah, I didn't know you were a Splinter Cell fan. Okay.
Not an enormous one, but it's grown on me over the years.
Yeah, right. And you're right. Like just having that, like
the lights,
the sound of the sound of the night vision turning on with the three
on or whatever. I mean, not bulbs because I suppose it's night vision, but that little that sound that goes with it, and then the lights flicking on, and then we kick off into a little mini CG and then into some gameplay,
or even just nothing, or even just that. Just
go full blown Wolfenstein, the new Colossus on, and like here's your little tease. Enough said, see ya.
No, it could just be the turn on sound, the three dots, the game title, and that's it, closed out.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. Yeah. There's lots of ways I can do it. I think all of them would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Ubisoft themselves, 6 a.m. Tuesday, June 13. Look forward to that one. We've got two more to go, and then we'll kind of
let's get to the big real big stuff.
PlayStation is going to be the best conference of E3 2017.
No, I think the one after that might be a little.
We'll see what happens. There's
just to interject before we touch on this. Do you think we see? Yeah, do you think we see Borderlands 3 at E3 this year? Somewhere.
No,
too soon. You reckon?
Late in the year, just Gearbox doing what Gearbox does. Just late in the year. Who knows? Maybe they'll announce it at PAX Souls.
Do you think we see some Scorpio Borderlands 3?
No.
Me neither.
we love our Borderlands, but I think we'd probably agree that we're maybe one more year away.
Maybe, yeah.
We saw that little demo. Look cool. Don't know if they've got a trailer ready though.
It's tech demo stuff. It's not.
But they're showing off technology at DICE. They're not going to show the game. Like that's not what the target audience.
But
is.
I don't know. Like if they're
normally those things aren't.
They're trying to sell their tech. I don't know how far into a game they are. Like if they're building their engine,
trying to make money. That's all. Like here's how it works. I don't know. That's a whole.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I just wanted to bring up some little or like lesser stuff that's not going to have its own conference that may somehow squeak into something like a Sony or a Microsoft.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll kind of go through a big old miscellaneous thing at the end and work out.
Yeah, sure.
Any along the
I've already slotted a few in, Warner Brothers and.
So God of War, that's a given, I think.
Yeah, I think we see some God of War. Do you think we get a release date for God of War?
I'm still struggling in my own head to decide whether it will be this year or not.
I don't think it's this year.
It's March.
Yeah, I think they're shooting for Horizon territory.
But I don't know what they've got for the end of the year though. Gran Turismo's meant to will be out in that time, but we said that last year. But it's been delayed now with the all but guaranteed it'll be this year. I didn't even put that in our sure things thing, but that's Gran Turismo. Was
Do you think we see Gran Turismo?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the release date, I'm fairly certain about that. That's Gran Turismo.
Look, I think we see God of War. I think we see a release date.
Yep. Which way would you go? Would you say this year?
I think 2018. Yeah. I think they shoot for the same window.
I feel like they go for March.
Yeah.
God of War's have
Horizon.
Every God of War has come out in March.
The Horizon
which
window.
Is a weird sort of thing, but
same window as Horizon. Yeah. Easy. Because that first quarter now, and we've seen it this year, we saw it last year, and I think maybe even the year before, it started to be just on fire.
Yeah.
People move out of that November.
And if you're PlayStation, and given, like we've spoken about the partnerships with EA for Battlefront, we've spoken about Call of Duty, we've spoken about Destiny, and they've buddied up with Red Dead. And now let's assume for a moment that Red Dead comes out this year. Because that's what
Do we see Red Dead?
No. Because they just don't... They don't take GTA to E3. I don't know whether they don't take Red Dead, because Red Dead is brilliant. Is not as big.
If they've got some money with Sony already.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But with all those games that we just mentioned there...
Do they need something?
Do they need to throw out a bit? Like Gran Turismo...
I mean, you've also got...
is a certain market, and that's fine.
You've also got the rest of the sure things that they've got.
There's a casual market that... Yeah, but I mean...
Crash will be out this year.
Crash is out in June. End of June.
Yeah.
I've got Detroit Become Human, which is the David Cage, Heavy Rain.
I know Souls. The Android one.
Yep, that has been... They've been teasing that one for quite a while, like a few years. That might be their end of year game.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
And Days Gone.
Which they showed a lot of last year.
And there's still...
They went back for seconds last year.
The speculation around that, I'm sure you've already heard this, the speculation around that was that Red Dead was meant to be there in that gameplay bit at the end.
Oh, okay.
And then it got pulled last minute because remember those big shootings that happened just before the conference?
Oh, yes.
There was a lot of speculation that they pulled Red Dead at last minute because they were because all the other games didn't kind of fit that shoot 'em up sort of kill sort of mentality, but Red Dead really did. That they kind of...
Yes, that's right. I do remember that. That was the...
I still don't know if I believe that, to be honest, but
Rockstar does whatever the fuck they want, so
they don't care.
So they could pull their game.
They care. They're a sensitive bunch of people. I'm sure they felt sorry for those.
Oh no, that's the thing. Like when I say they don't care,
and it doesn't impact their marketing.
They would just be like, oh no, we don't want to have our game just after this thing. Fuck you, we're gonna pull. When I say they don't care, it's not that they don't care about the sensitive issue. It's that they don't care about the fucking E3 press conference.
Yeah, they don't need it.
They don't need it. They do what they want.
As they proved with Red Dead.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of didn't go as well as they perhaps expected because they lined up with the Switch, and the Switch dominated in the end.
Say that again?
The conversation that particular day, like the Red Dead 2 trailer came out the same day, like an hour and a half before the Switch stuff happened, and no one talked about Red Dead.
Except us.
Well, there was a few of us. Oh no, like people would talk about it in the days gone on, but that 24-hour conversation,
was heavily dominated by what the Switch
Nintendo.
was. Yeah.
And that probably surprised them, and maybe they thought, like, if this was GTA, totally different story, I reckon.
No.
Oh.
Nah, the Switch. Whenever
Switch is,
everyone was like
Nintendo. When
they
Nintendo
kept
brings
everyone.
out a console, people talk about.
No, but they kept everyone on the hook for a long time. Nintendo. They're like NX, maybe.
But you might have gotten a more even balance of conversation.
Yeah, maybe.
With GTA, whereas Red Dead, and that might have opened their eyes. Well, maybe we need E3.
Maybe.
For something like Red Dead versus GTA.
But in terms of Days Gone, I reckon
should be there. I don't know if it's a date yet. But
maybe we see Holiday.
I wouldn't rule it out because Sony Bend, the studio working on it, have been silent since, outside of when they announced this, they've been silent since Uncharted Golden Abyss for the Vita. That was a Vita launch title in 2012. So they're due for a final product to come out. I think.
Yeah, and look, maybe that's their Holiday.
I think they came close to being closed, just because they were
not
producing it for a while.
I mean,
and they went through.
Weren't they
they
kind of like a
filter studio?
Yeah, I think they were the test. They were doing like a lot of test work, weren't they? Like they were doing like a lot of tech
like
demos,
freemiums and those sorts of things.
No, like a lot of tech demos for their hardware. I think for a period of time.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's how they get good, because they're a talented studio who have probably been underutilized for a while. So I'm glad to see that they're kind of
quite a while, 5 years.
So Days Gone, that'd be nice. Crash, we've spoken about. Gran Turismo, we've spoken about. Outside speculation, what are we thinking? And I'm not out of the realm.
Well, I mean, of course, we're probably going to be seeing Uncharted.
Oh yes, sorry, because that comes out in August. So yes, Uncharted: Lost Legacy.
Yep. Do we see Matterfall?
No.
Okay.
You're going to get to see Nex Machina, which is the other game from Housemarque.
Okay.
Because I believe that's out this year, locked.
I hope. I want to see. I want to see Matterfall.
I'm fairly certain you made the wrong choice of the two games, but I might be wrong. But I don't think I am. Sorry.
You're hoping.
I'm hoping, but I'm fairly sure I might be right.
I mean, Housemarque make fantastic games. If that game comes out, I mean, that's the thing. We haven't seen a gameplay trailer for that yet. So, do we?
For which one? For Housemarque?
Yeah. No.
Sorry. Matterfall.
Matterfall.
Yeah.
We've seen only a snippet in a scissor.
Yeah. Oh, there was a trailer for it and someone running on, and then all of a sudden it panned out and kind of indicated. But yeah, it was basically CG.
Yeah, it's just we've only seen like scissor reel stuff. Yeah. So look, I think I'd like to say that we see some of that.
Yeah.
Do you think we see any DLC for existing
Horizon?
Do we see Horizon? Do we see Neo? Do we see Nier? Do we see any
Neo's
of those?
already gotten some DLC.
Has it really? Okay.
Just in this past.
Well, there you go.
Jay, yeah, you need to get it. It sounds like it's a fairly meaty sort of like Dark Souls style DLC.
Okay, well that's
surprise, because Neo is a Dark Souls style game.
Do we see anything from Software? Do you think we see Bloodborne 2?
Yeah, I knew that's where that was headed.
I mean, if I
yes,
you think so?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I also think, just while we're on, I feel like we're gonna not on that studio specifically. I think we're gonna see more Spider-Man gameplay.
Yeah.
No release date because last time they didn't even have a title outside of hashtag Spider-Man PS4. So I think we're a little way off in that regard. I think one studio that everyone is forgetting in the lead up, at least to this stage, and again maybe something's been announced by the time
this video airs.
But Sucker Punch, so they're the guys who do Infamous, have done nothing since 2014.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not suggesting it's going to be Infamous. I would very much like it to be. I know you're not as big a fan of Infamous, but
yeah. But as far as I'm concerned, it's time for them to come out with a new IP.
Yeah,
because
and a lot of the speculation is that they'll do it, especially given that we've got a superhero game coming to PS4 now in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That maybe this is the chance for
them to do something
to go off and do something else.
Well, what were they making before Infamous?
Sly Cooper.
And is that it?
And then they kind of bounced around with a lot of different things that they were third party before that.
Yeah. Okay.
They became first party after Infamous 1, I think, or after.
Around about that.
Memory's a bit foggy whether it was Infamous 1 or Infamous 2 that was the bit where they became first party.
Okay.
But,
yeah, look, you're right. You're probably right.
I think they're due, and I think people are forgetting about them because of the God of Wars, because of Horizon, because of those. And like, this is a studio that, I know you and I differ in terms of Infamous itself, but critically, the Infamous games are done fantastically well. They get considered as and I feel like they're the studio who is. So we've seen with Guerrilla doing Horizon that they've finally Horizon was always a good. Sorry,
Killzone.
Killzone was a good franchise, but it wasn't.
Never a great.
It was never a great one, and then Horizon, they've elevated themselves into that.
Oh, so you think that they might be being groomed for something?
I feel like Sucker Punch is the studio who's ready to make that step.
Do you think we see more Death Stranding?
No.
Fair enough.
Kojima can't help himself, which is why I'm not 100% convinced. But I feel like he's gotten to the point, like he
has to get down to business.
He needs to get down and start making the game. Yeah,
he needs to get down to business.
You'll probably see him at PSX. My gut feel is you'll see him at one of PSX.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I always forget about PSX. That they hold
keep
shit.
Some aces up their sleeve, like they did with the game we'll talk about next, The Last of Us Part 2. That's also another.
Do you think we see it?
It's not coming out this year. It's not coming out next year, in my mind. It's just certainly not coming out this year, but in my mind, it's definitely not coming out next year either. I think it's late 2019 at the earliest. My thing about it is that at the same time they announced The Last of Us Part 2 last year, they did come out and say that we'll see you next year with more. It could just be a trailer. It could be a gameplay demo, a la what they did with the original Last of Us. That was still then 18 months-ish before the final game came out.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to do that.
Well, do you think we see
PSX was the right stage to unveil it. Like, you're talking to the hardcore PlayStation fan. That was perfectly done the way they
Do you think we see more of the stuff that we saw at PSX at the Sony E3? Do you think we see Ace Combat? Do you think we see...
Ace Combat, unfortunately, just got delayed into 2018. That was the VR thing. And we haven't even spoken about VR.
I was going to touch on that. I'm like, okay, do you think we see any VR? I don't think we see VR this year.
I think they need to, otherwise it's dying in the water.
I guess, but...
like that, I mean, don't get me wrong, PlayStation VR has well outperformed what PlayStation themselves had expected it to actually do. It's apparently doing fantastic numbers against what they'd expected.
But I think it has Kinect syndrome of it does not show well at a conference.
Yeah, and so maybe it's just a ton of stuff on the show floor, you think?
Yeah, that, and I think they'll probably save it for PSX.
Because I think about last year's E3, and the one VR game I think of, and there was others there. There's others I can recall.
There was a few. There was about 4 or 5.
There's plenty of others I can recall, but the one I think of was Farpoint. Now that's just released and it's reviewed pretty well, not through the roof, but it's reviewing pretty well. I can't speak to it because unfortunately the time we're recording this, I've had the game for like 2 days, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I know, shame on me. But that struck me like that is a game that I can't get a feel for the perspective right now, but I can see how this would work.
Right.
And I feel like if they've got the right games going on, I think they can. If they work out how to convey that message, it's still possible via a press conference.
So you're saying strike while the iron's hot, otherwise it might cool forever?
Yeah. You need to show, and this is the problem that the Vita had, you need to show publishers that you're still going to support this thing. Because PlayStation themselves very quickly stopped supporting the Vita and left it to smaller Japanese studios, for the most part, to deal with your Freedom Wars games and those sorts of things that came out. They need to show that they're going to... Well, Persona was the launch title for Vita.
Yeah, that's right.
Or launch window, sorry. They need to show publishers, the big ones and the small ones, that they are still
willing to support
this thing. And they should, because it's done well, and they've just brought out this big accessory that goes alongside Farpoint and those sorts of things.
So we might see some more from Insomniac too, because they're working on a bunch of VR stuff, I think.
Yeah, but they've buddied up with because remember, Insomniac are obviously third party.
Yeah, they buddied up with, was it Oculus?
Yeah.
Well, there's no reason.
Edge of Nowhere and a few others, whilst working on Spider-Man for PlayStation. And I think that's almost, let's try new ideas over here, VR. Here's our
real game.
Do we get a sequel to Ratchet and Clank? Maybe.
Nah, too soon.
They're not arduous games to make. That's my counter to that. I'm not super sure that we see it.
Do you think we've seen Knack 2?
Yes, because it's coming out this year. There's their holiday game.
Yeah.
Knack 2.
They did it.
You
did it.
Meme on the internet.
You did it. You did it, Sony. You did it.
And you did it, fans. This one's for you.
Yeah. It's because you bought the game.
I think that was...
It's your fault.
It's my fault then too.
Yeah. Shame.
I really want to believe to cycle back to the Sucker Punch thing. I really believe that they're ready, and I think they're the studio that's next.
I mean,
Naughty Dog is their elite.
Look at all the stuff that we've
right up there as well. You've added Gorilla to it. I feel like there's room for one more, and I feel like the one more could be something.
But I mean, look at all the stuff that we've said.
Job in nurturing their studios.
Very little of what we've suggested as, again, all of it's baseless, but very little of it is wild speculation.
Yeah, there's grounds to suggest. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the website, you see that I do. I didn't do it for Nintendo this year because we just knew nothing when it came to the Switch. But I do reports on each of the first-party studios for both Xbox and PlayStation. I kind of rattled off a whole bunch of different things, and when I spoke about Sucker Punch, I did speak about the fact that they were due. And I spoke about a couple others that are kind of in a similar sort of window. But, yeah, I don't know. The time's about right, I think.
I mean, if you think about it...
For them, and there's probably a couple others.
Bloodborne 2, something from Sucker Punch, God of War...
And we've not even spoken third party.
Yeah.
Where we know
which Destiny will be there, Call of Duty, yeah.
Battlefront, presumably a tiny little snippet, but mostly at EA.
What was the other
possibly
one?
Red Dead.
Yeah. This is turning out to be a long ass fucking press conference.
Well, they have been doing really long ones of late. And there'll be the next, whatever the next third party partnership is.
Shenmue, Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake's an interesting one, but Square Enix we've not spoken about at all, and their slate's kind of bare now that 15's out.
And now that
they've killed off Hitman.
IO.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider we've not discussed, and that is a thing. Do they come grovelling back to Sony and go, "We're sorry, we stuffed up"? After the
probably not, because
not saying that it'll be exclusive.
Microsoft's got all that Scorpio money ready to go, so I don't know. I would probably bank on seeing it there.
I don't know if Microsoft would go to that well.
Did it serve them poorly last time?
It didn't help Microsoft, and it didn't help Crystal Dynamics either. Now, Crystal Dynamics aren't the ones making.
Are they not the ones making the next one?
No, Crystal Dynamics are working on an Avengers game. The Marvel license. They've been given the Marvel license to work.
Yeah, right.
And it's
Gex 4.
No, I can't think of the name of the studio who's doing. Might have been. I think it was just Eidos Montreal. The ones who are doing Tomb Raider. And keep in mind, we've not had an official announcement for Tomb Raider either. It was a photo that someone took over.
Oh, that's right, over the shoulder of
someone. A guy who was sitting on a train.
Yeah, right.
If you're the sort of person who sits on a train working on your video games, and you're probably not watching because let's be honest, hardly anyone does. But we're getting there. It's early days for us. It's early days for us still. We're getting there. But if you are one of those people, can you stop doing that on a train? Like, it's just, you're ruining the surprise for all of us.
No,
I mean, it's still a surprise when we see the announcement.
Fuck it, keep doing it. Gives us something to talk about.
I want that Splinter Cell sort of moment in the thing. I don't want Lara Croft ruined with, like, it's just, here we go. This is what it's like. Square Enix rolls out, we're probably going to see Shadow of the Tomb Raider now.
Yeah,
I want to go in there with, what the hell's this?
I guess.
We won't see Final Fantasy 16, that's fine.
No.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake is
we might see, like, a Dragon's Quest.
Dragon Quest is the one.
But that's we could probably segue into Nintendo now, I guess.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll touch on some of the things like Dragon Quest and some of those other ones. Because
I've
been going a long time already.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think that there is much of Sony left.
Yeah, true.
Like that's we've exhausted that. But there's a fucking shitload of stuff there.
Yeah. So Nintendo, they've already been in PlayStation 11 AM June 13, so 5 hours after Ubisoft starts. Nintendo are then, you've got 18 odd hours to rest up, which is appreciated, I think, by everyone. Yeah. 2 a.m. Wednesday, June 14, Nintendo's Direct. It's a Nintendo Direct. I don't recall what they're calling it. It's their E3 presentation, though, for 2017.
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey is the thing that they've already touted will be there.
Yep.
I think they're going to give that their space, the Breath of the Wild sort of treatment, but for Mario.
Yeah, right.
That'd be cool.
Do you think we
Splatoon?
Yeah.
Release date for Mario.
You reckon?
2017 release date for Mario.
I'm pushing for January or February.
For the draft, what do you genuinely think?
For the draft, I want it to be that. I genuinely do think that will happen because that's exactly what happened with Breath of the Wild.
Mario's easier for them.
Yeah,
and but maybe my take is that Mario's already done.
But look, I think that maybe we see something new pop out that is a smaller franchise, maybe like a Pokemon or something like that.
Pokemon is a smaller franchise
than Mario.
Here's a smaller franchise for you, and I want you to picture this. Dim the lights. I'm not dimming any lights in here. Dim the lights. Retro Studios.
Oh, Metroid.
Metroid is back.
They'll probably fuck it.
It'll probably be Donkey Kong.
They'll probably make another bad Metroid Prime game and make me real sad forever.
I don't know, but look, retro's due. It's
Yeah, they are.
2014, I think, was Donkey Kong Country
Frozen.
Returns Tropical Freeze.
Yeah. Ice, jungle, that
It
game.
was awesome. It was good fun. I really liked it, and as was the original Donkey Kong.
I was
thrilled as fans of those old Donkey Kong Country games from the Super Nintendo era. I was thrilled those two games came along, but probably not necessary now.
No.
Take a break. Maybe find it like this is the sort of thing. The sort of thing that
should cool off on that Donkey Kong stuff.
Yeah. Well, we've already got New Donk City, so that's a Donkey Kong fix. For
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
some of that new Donk goodness.
Yeah. That's it. Get on it. I'd like to go to Old Donk City because
Because
before it was cool.
yeah, before Mario came in,
Yeah.
made it all
And
hit.
threw his hat around before he threw his hat in the ring.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Don't know shit about it, so maybe.
The weird thing in the bit that surprised me, but I don't totally buy
We
it, is
saw
the
that-
fact they said 2017. That was during that Switch.
That Switch thing, that's right.
thing
I remember
earlier this
watching
year.
that at work.
And they said 2017. I'm like, Japan, not the West.
Maybe.
And I'd love to be wrong.
Maybe it's worldwide.
I think they've finally understood off the back of the original Chronicles and then Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I mean, now that it's region
Western
free,
fans want it.
now that it's region free, what benefit do they
Just need
have?
to get the translation and
Yeah, like what benefit do they have of holding it? Because people that
Voicing
want it will just buy it, and they'll be just like, I don't know what's going on.
You could do that anyway. I still recall a few reviewers couldn't review the Japanese product, but they had it and they played it. So then,
And a lot of those end up in English anyway,
yeah.
the Japanese ones. So who knows?
So look,
Dragon Quest, obviously.
whether it's Nintendo or PlayStation,
I think it'll be Nintendo. Haven't they already said that there's some? Is it 10 or something?
11.
11,
And
sorry.
it's on PS4. Originally, it was announced PS4, 3DS, and then they kind of subtly slipped into a press release afterwards that was Switch. And the bit that's interesting about it is that it's out in the middle of this year, and I don't recall the date for Japan, but it's out in the middle of this year, and it's PS4, 3DS.
Yeah, right. Do we see much 3DS support?
Undefined for Switch.
Do we see?
Hey Pikmin, but that's because it's out a month after the event.
Yeah, right.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
I think no more than 5 3DS games will be there,
Okay.
and they won't get a lot of airtime. Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yep.
Fire Emblem Warriors.
And isn't there still
Warriors.
one more that they're working on?
And then there's
The Switch?
then there's a core Fire
Yeah.
Emblem game, which will probably end up being 3, and you have to buy 3 times and cost you $300.
Much to Damo's chagrin.
And he'll do it with a
And he
smile
will.
on his face.
Yeah. Or grimace at his wallet, maybe.
Yeah, the quick sad look down at his wallet, but then a real big grin on his face afterwards.
When he looks at those cartridges sticking out of his fucking wallet.
Yes, he
He'll
doesn't
buy
even
a
have a
Switch.
Switch. Yeah, there you go. So the wallet is just bleeding money at this point
Yeah.
for Damo. But
Hemorrhaged.
yeah, probably some footage from that core Fire Emblem game.
Not
a lot.
Do you think
'cause
we
they probably
see
want to save
anything regarding the Breath of the Wild DLC?
DLC, yeah.
Yeah.
it. Because that's meant to be at the end of the year, and like they'll do something in the direct, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see after that. And Pokemon, to your point before, which was you were kind of tongue in cheek with something smaller, but there'll be Pokemon in some capacity.
Potentially.
I'd love for it to be a Switch exclusive game. I don't know if
Do you think we see
3DS.
Do you think
That
we
might
see
be
them
one of
going
those
back
5.
to the well of the Mario Karts and Splatoons and see them pulling a whole bunch of Wii U stuff forward?
With Splatoon 2 coming out, they're not going to bring the original Splatoon over.
No. I just mean, do you think they're going to go back to the well and say, okay, well, for those of you
More
that
of those
didn't play
ports.
Bayonetta 2,
Oh.
we're going to...
Yeah, more of those sort of ports.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going through it one by one. So Splatoon I don't expect. Mario Kart's obviously already happening.
Bayonetta.
Smash.
Smash.
Yes.
Do you think we see a new Smash?
Super Smash Brothers
4.
for Switch Deluxe. I feel like that Deluxe name kind of worked from with Mario Kart.
Do you think they're just going to remake Smash, or do you think they're going to just
Yeah.
do a new one?
Yeah, I think they will, and it's probably all lined up around the fact that this final wave of Amiibo for it are coming out in July.
Yeah, maybe.
Doesn't mean Smash
Do you-
will.
it'd
but I
probably
think
just be a
here you go,
deluxe
and all
one.
your Amiibo work, and
Here's 1 or 2 extra characters that we drummed up.
yes, which means here's another 6 Amiibo that we'll give you.
Yeah, here's another Fire Emblem character because fuck it. Who knows? I don't know.
Smash, yeah, Bayonetta, possibly be good to give him some legs. maybe we'd then see the Bayonetta 3 announcement alongside it.
Maybe, yeah, or even Vanquish 2.
They seem pretty keen to work with
Vanquish,
Nintendo on
small
Bayonetta still.
Vanquish.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the platform for it.
Me neither. Oh, yeah,
Like
probably
the audience, I mean.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
But then beyond that, I don't know.
Metal Gear Solid 5, obviously.
There's going to be some... yeah. Kojima waltzes out. Here, I formed a second studio.
Yeah,
and
we're going to use...
As if I'm not taking long enough to do Death Stranding, here's my second.
I've decided to put the Death Stranding in the Star Fox Zero engine.
No Star Fox, for starters.
No Star Fox.
They might have just killed that IP.
I think they have, yeah. That's a shame. We obviously, as much as I'd like it, we're not going to see F-Zero.
No.
Do you think we see an Earthbound?
No.
Okay. It's a shame.
Sorry.
Do you think we see a Mario RPG of some description?
Yes.
Do you think it'll probably be the Mario and Luigi?
No. What I was going to get at, and something I forgot with Ubisoft, is the fact that there's this Mario Cross Rabbids RPG.
Oh yeah, right.
That's what we're going to
get. Is it an RPG?
Yeah, apparently it's an RPG.
Get fucked.
It could be hilarious. This could be awesome though.
My body is not ready.
Yeah, no, it's not. But what the who knows what that could be? It could actually be brilliant.
No.
Probably not. But it could be. And that's what I'll pin my hopes on, that it could be.
Let me
what
tell
it could
you.
be.
Let me tell you what, like on a cute scale, Rabbids, Chocobos, like
Chocobos are adorable.
Yeah, I mean, and look, if they couldn't partner up with Square a second time to do a Mario RPG, I don't think this is going to.
Nah.
It's probably not.
Look, it's possible we might see a Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, maybe.
Paper Mario needs to stay away for a little while.
They need to go back and play the 1,000-Year Door and be like, oh, that's what was good.
That's why it's the 6th best RPG ever made.
I saw your list.
Yeah, if you want to check it out, my little personal...
Not a great list.
Shut up, it's because you disagree.
Yes. I didn't see Golden Sun in there at all.
No. If you want to check it out, my personal Facebook little page that I've created, Paul James Gaming Writer, I've got top 10 RPGs of all time. It was thought about.
Was it?
Yes, it was thought about, but it didn't fit the list.
Golden Sun 1 and 2 as a...
anything else? Do you think Advance Wars?
I'd love to see it. I don't think they will. I mean, Intelligent Systems are working... Oh, Camelot. Camelot's working probably on a sports game, maybe. Mario Golf, Mario Tennis.
Yeah. Mario Golf games have always been pretty good.
Yeah.
Tennis ones...
But they just... Didn't they just finish one for 3DS? So I'd love to see a Strikers. But I don't think it was them. Wasn't it a different team who worked on it for the Wii?
I have no idea.
I don't think it was the same group.
Yeah.
And they went for that weird, like, semi-mech suit look to it, which was cool, very cool. What was it, Charged, I think it was?
Yes.
The
Nintendo ideas have kind of been exhausted.
Do you think we see a Pilot Wings?
No. We're a better chance of seeing a Wii something. Wii Sports 3 on Switch, which should be...
Do we see a 1-2 Switch DLC package?
No. I feel like we're missing a sports, like a Wii Sports style sort of thing.
I think 1-2 Switch was their attempt at the Wii Sports idea of, hey, let me show you the dumb shit that this console can do.
Yeah.
They need to put out, like, actual games. They can't. They just can't. Surely they would know after 2 consoles that you can't just keep dumping that shit because no one will buy it.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think we see a WarioWare?
Yeah, because they're crazy enough to do it. Like, it's just weird.
I mean, it's appropriate. I mean,
it fits the platform.
And it hasn't been seen for a while.
Yeah, it does flip. The ideas are almost have been spent for me, I think.
Well, let me think. Let me see.
We'll try to avoid some dead air a little bit. Give that a little bit of thought, but I'm going to kind of move on to just kind of some of the miscellaneous stuff. So we've spoken about...
Well, do you think we see more about the Virtual Console?
Yes.
I think
they're going to talk about their online, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, do you think they now delve into that?
Yeah,
I think that framework is?
I think they need to.
Yeah, they have to.
They have to. They've kind of committed to mid-year.
And they have to clear up what that one game a month thing is. They have to clear it up. They have to do right by their Switch purchase, or like the people that are purchased. Yeah, they have to.
Miscellaneous. So
I mean, we talked about Borderlands. We've talked about
Borderlands, Middle Earth. We've spoken about
Warner Brothers.
Few Capcom
I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite will be there somewhere.
There'll be some Resident Evil DLC probably somewhere amongst it. Probably PlayStation stage though, because they're buddy with them.
Yeah, we absolutely will not see any Dead Rising DLC because that game's terrible and will not make them any money.
No. Just to briefly elaborate on the Dragon Quest XI thing, I want to see a release date.
Yeah, right.
A Western one, because at the moment they haven't even acknowledged that it's going to come.
Actually, let me just touch on one thing. Let me just have a wild prediction for the Nintendo. Do you think we see Suda51 with No More Heroes 3? I don't think so, but man, would I like it. I mean, he was at the Switch event.
He was there, and man, was that not the worst segment of the whole thing?
Oh. It was depressing, but it was also extremely exciting for me because I'm a mad No More Heroes fan. So look, maybe there's something there, or maybe they port the first two over first.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
See how that goes.
I mean, because they had ported them to the PS3 and the Xbox 360, so there's no reason they couldn't port that to the Switch.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to have my grasshopper moment.
Konami. We might see that Metal Gear thing, but
Metal Gear Survive.
What publisher, be it PlayStation, Microsoft, Nintendo, what publisher's brave enough to put that up? To go, yes, we'll let you put that game.
The PC one.
Yeah, possibly, because they're like, yeah, we'll take a game.
Because whatever.
Games will be good. Great, thanks.
Jeez.
Capcom, Konami.
Do you think we see Windjammers?
Bandai, maybe Tails. Hey,
Windjammers?
Yeah, at PlayStation.
Yeah.
Warner
Namco Bandai.
Brothers, we've kind of touched on.
We touched on From Software. They've got potentially got a new IP that might see the light of day.
Activision we've covered because it's Call of Duty and Destiny.
Do you think we see anything from Overwatch?
PC, probably.
Diablo?
If they were to do that.
Do you think we see anything from Blizzard, or they save it to BlizzCon?
BlizzCon. I think we've almost exhausted everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think the well is dry.
Because a lot of those other big third parties have got
a platform. They've currently got
something they can do. So I think we're pretty well done.
Yeah, who knows? That's it.
Not that we've spoken about kind of some of the those who got the most to lose. Who do we expect to be the company that delivers, like, puts on the conference that we think about at the end of E3?
Sony.
This is not that stupid win-lose thing.
Sony.
But Sony's just cashed up and ready. Well,
no, it's got nothing to do with it.
But they've already used their cash
for the reasons that we mentioned before. They've got stuff with ground. Microsoft has no ground. Other than their Scorpio money.
Scorpio could knock it out of the park to a point where they could.
No, hardware's never interesting. Like, in terms of having an exciting show, Sony. In terms of having an interesting or intriguing or potentially, like, wildly could go in any direction, Microsoft, absolutely. Or even Nintendo, for showing what the Switch could do. Yeah.
Not the third parties. It's down to your big three when it comes to
it is. But I think Sony will put on the biggest show.
They have the partnerships.
Yeah, and they've got the
But
their partnerships have had time.
Yeah. 20 years of 21 years.
No, I mean time since their last game.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them, as we spoke about before.
Oh yeah, some of the exclusive.
It's been years.
Things, yeah. Yeah, look, I'd agree with that. But like, even in terms of their third party partnerships, like there's some that they've paid for, your Destinies and your Call of Duties and those sorts of things. There's others that are just long established friendships. Yeah. Your Final Fantasies, for example. Like, that's built
your Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Like they've stood together for a long time. So
Destiny.
Yeah.
Well,
so I guess that's you. You can correct us, please, in the comments if there's things that have been announced by this stage. If you've watched to this point, because I think we've gone for close to 2 hours.
Really? You might want to have to give it a snippet in the middle.
Well, yeah, we might just break this in two pieces. We'll see how we go. Once I view it back and see what's going on. And hopefully there's a nice seamless spot where I can go, there's an awkward pause between us. I go, that's it, cut there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, look, there are our three predictions. So let us know in the comments if there's things that you agree with, disagree with, if there's some things that have already been announced. In the meantime, though, make sure to visit player2.net.au, where there's already a bunch of written predictions from all of our writers at the site, or certainly a few of them. I'm sure there's some crazy ideas going on there that we've probably not even thought of yet.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered a lot, but there'll be something.
I mean,
Adam's one of the writers, so Adam comes up with
the time clock said we've definitely covered a lot.
Yeah. So go check that out. There'll be the E3 hub, I'm sure. So make sure to go and check that one out. Player2AU on Twitter. Paul James P2 on Twitter. Jay doesn't do the Twitters.
I don't do the Twitters.
And until E3, which is now like 6 days away.
Yep, keep your
Thanks very much for watching.
Get
them taut. And
get ready. Christmas is upon us.
It's going to be a hell of a ride. We'll see you next week for a whole bunch of episodes.
All sorts of shit.
Bye.